everybody, and welcome back to Darksiders 3 with Chaos Counseling. We're trying to find the exit.
I will say, I do like the atmosphere of this.
Yeah, I really like the colors.
They went, because, you know, usually water levels are pretty blue.
Pretty blue and stuff, but this is nice purple and red colors.
They went with like purple and pink, and I quite enjoy it, actually. It reminds
Very
me
nice.
of a location in Xenoblade 2, actually. That
there's a rock.
became one of my favorite places in that game. Uriah. I think that's what it's called, Uriah.
Oh, so I've been playing through Final Fantasy X recently.
How is it?
It's okay.
You haven't quit, unlike some other...
I've realized at this point I'm really nearly done here, so at this point I probably shouldn't quit.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, you know, see it to the end.
Yeah, see it to the end at this point. But one of the dumb things that have always bothered me about it is the fact that they can randomly breathe underwater, but they still take breaths of air before they die. So it feels like they have unlimited air underwater. Oh. And, like, it makes no sense.
So, when my dad went to see Aquaman, he just, at the end, it's like, how are they breathing underwater? That makes no sense. And just kind of looked at him like, really? He can control fish with his mind, and you're getting hung up on the fact that they cannot talk underwater. And you're getting hung up on the fact that they can talk underwater. Maybe if we swap the blocks around. Yep. I mean... I'm like, whatever, I've harped on other things in other movies, but it just amused me. I'm like, really? That's where you draw the line?
But I think my opinion on Final Fantasy X is I can see why people loved it, but I'm not a fan of it.
So it's basically our opinion on Tales of the Abyss. We understand why people like it, even if we do not like it at all.
So Abyss is the one you don't like. What is Vesperia?
Vesperia is the one Luke hates.
One that I vehemently despise.
Abyss is fine.
Okay.
It's a 3DS, at least here in the States.
No, it was originally on PlayStation 2.
Oh, was it?
Remade,
okay.
And it was the first one that was remade, actually, on the 3DS.
Okay.
And then,
but I liked it okay. It was just kind of a weak story compared to the others. But I didn't, like, hate every second of it.
Yeah.
But I haven't played Vesperia all the way through, and I was fine with it so far.
Okay. Because it's on the Switch, and I was like, maybe.
I mean, granted, what I am kind of glad is Abby could see why I hated Vesperia, even if she didn't share my absolute resentment of it.
Yeah.
Now that we finally got an HD version that has all the content that was never localized, we're going to play through it together, and maybe the missing content will fill in context for why. Because I hate Vesperia because I hate the main character. I vehemently
there's a Volgren.
Hey, sick.
I vehemently despise the main character and everything he stands for. And for me, given how important Tales of Symphonia is to me and what Lloyd as a character means to me, a bad protagonist in a Tales game, or, well, bad by my standard, is borderline an unforgivable thing for me. But, like I said, I'm hoping now that there's a lot of extra scenes and dialogue that hopefully set him up better than what we got in the original cut. Any grievances I have about the character will be null and void, because I'm praying they're explored better, you know?
Oh, I have another dumb thing I need to say, just because of... So when I started playing Twilight Princess, guess what Game Grumps uploaded?
Twilight Princess.
They're stalking me! And I'm not okay with this! We started Monster Prom, they started Monster Prom. Well, guys! They're spying on me.
How many minutes left in the episode?
A lot.
13.
Yeah, okay, keep going.
But I'm not okay with that, and Dan and Aaron, if you are somehow listening right now, stop it!
This is a joke, by the way.
If they seriously contacted me, I think I might die.
I lost my shit when it's like, holy crap, they got Brian Regan and Jamie Lee Curtis to cameo on the show. I'm like,
I'm jealous.
I am so jealous.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. No, they've been doing this so long, and they deserve that recognition.
I'm glad. So, I'm so behind on Game Grumps. I've been meaning to catch up. It's been years, like literal years, since I've watched their stuff. I think the last thing I watched was actually Bloodborne, and I think they, like, picked it up again and continued playing it, even though I watched them beat it. Anyway, that's besides the point. It's been a long time since I watched them, but I always thought it was funny how like everyone's like, when's the next guest scrubs? Because they would always bother them about it, and then they're like, okay, here you go, and it's like all these really cool people.
Yeah, oh man. What a great way to be salty.
Speaking of Bloodborne, I remember I bought a game called Bound by Flame, mostly because I needed a fourth game to get the like super cheap deal at GameStop, and I'm like, this looks mildly cool.
Ooh.
And from what I read, I'm like, oh, this is a game like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Neo, or I think that's how it's pronounced.
Nier?
No, it's a game made by. It's a fantasized version of a real life Englishman who went to Japan and became a samurai.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, that's not important. So I thought, all right, I want to try some of these other games. Because Bound by Flame was not good, but I had fun with it. Mm-hmm. So I ended up getting Neo, or I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. It's spelled Nioh. Mostly because the main character appeared in Warrior All-Stars, which, for me at least, was by far my favorite Warriors game that I've played. I've only ever played Dynasty Warriors 7, and it bored me to tears. Again, if there's a better Dynasty Warriors game to play, if there are any Dynasty Warriors fans out there, just let me know. I'll take a look. Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, I also enjoyed those, but for me, Warrior All-Stars was the one I had the absolute most fun with. And he was so I started getting the games that most of the characters appeared in that were localized, with the exception of Dead or Alive, because apparently there was no story mode in the Dead or Alive games that were out at the time, and I'm like, I don't play fighting games to fight. I like their story modes. So, I digress. Moving on. And I could not get past... Well, okay, I got past the prologue level, but the first actual chapter of Neo, I'm like, yeah, I'm stuck. Like, legitimately, I cannot get past, like, the first 4 enemies. If Bloodborne and Dark Souls is anything like this, I think I should just...
Quit while you're ahead.
I think I should just quit while I'm ahead. I think it's embarrassing enough as it is that I can't play them. I shouldn't embarrass myself by playing them.
Speaking of interesting, like, games and, like, stuff like that, like hard games, one thing I found out from my roommate, she usually doesn't play games, but she started playing them a little bit more because she wanted to play she saw me play Breath of the Wild and thought it looked real good, so she played it. And I had beaten the game, but she thought it was too easy, so she did Master Mode, and she's like, I enjoy the game so much more than this mode. And then I paused, and I was like, I wonder if you... And she, like, talked about how, like, she loves the challenge of it, and how, like, you have to be more careful, and, like, and how, like, if you die, you have... Or, like, something you have to, like, adapt your fighting style. And I was listening to her, and I'm like... I think literally all these really hard games that people talk about, like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, I was hearing her talk about it, I'm like, this literally sounds like what you would enjoy out of those games. So I'm almost tempted if she's thought about getting a Switch. I'm almost tempted if she does, I would be like,
tell her to
happy birthday! Have all these super hard games!
Do it. Oh, and please do it.
And see what she thinks, because she honestly, like, that was her favorite part, is that
the challenge
of it, and how you had to adapt your strategy based on what you were fighting, which is quite honestly what Dark Souls and Bloodborne is all about.
Give her Dark Souls. Oh my gosh.
It just so happens that she's that kind of player, which I thought was so interesting.
I am so jealous of those players, because my gosh, I can't do that.
I wish I could do that, because I hear Dark Souls has amazing lore. Like, amazing lore.
Yeah, amazing. I need a baby mode. I really need a baby mode.
I want to be able to enjoy it, but I'm afraid that I will, like... I mean, those games are hard. They're meant to be hard, right?
Yeah.
I'm afraid that I might get too mad at it that I won't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
Which is the last thing I want to do, because those games seem genuinely really good.
But, like, I recently...
Or well-made.
Yeah, I recently picked up, like, Radiant Historia that got remade.
Uh-huh.
And they had a mode called Friendly, which is my favorite thing on the fucking planet.
Yeah.
Because it was like, hey, so here's all the battles. It's like this 9-grid system, which is a lot of fun, but it's like, do you not have time for that and just want to get through the story? Have friendly mode. You just go smack them once, like in the overworld, basically like the preemptive attack type thing.
Uh-huh.
And they die, and you get the experience, you get the money, you get the items. And it's like, hey, now keep going, have fun. And it's like, yeah, I'm a tired adult. This is so nice.
I know for a fact, Like, the three biggest things that I rate a game on is character first, then story, then gameplay. I mean, because if a game... While gameplay doesn't matter a ton to me, if a game is, like, old or too... Because I tried playing Blood Rain just because, well, I was downloading a bunch of retro games, and I just couldn't get a handle on the camera, so I didn't get very far. But... I know that I just don't play games for the challenge because it's like, I just don't care. I don't have the time to spend hours on this one thing. I want to just play through it. I want to see the story. I want to see how the characters interact with each other.
See, I know that's a huge draw for some people, though, and part of the reason why I want to try it is because, sometimes I'm like that. I mean, I wouldn't have gone through the genocide run of Undertale if I didn't have that part of me.
Yeah.
So I want to try it to see how I'll react, because that's part of the game is, like, banging your head and then getting that gratification of, I did it.
Yeah, and I want to try Dark Souls, but I don't know if it's like I want to own it. I might go red box it or something.
Yeah, and also, like, to me, and I found out that this is actually kind of a controversial opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. It also kind of reflects on the high train. It kind of reflects on the major that I'm working for. I don't know. I'm waiting to get the degree in my hand. But honestly, I hear so many people, and this is a little bit of a disagreement, but I totally get what you're saying, Luke, because in a way I'm similar. But to me, I feel like the most important thing a game needs is good gameplay.
Okay, yeah, no, I can understand that, because if a game's unplayable, then...
I think this is an argument I've made before. If you can't play the game, chances are, if you're interested in it, if you can't play it, chances are you will go and watch the story itself, which is similar to a movie. But if the gameplay's good and the story's bad, sometimes you're like, if the gameplay's fun, you're like,
had fun.
I'll still play it because it's fun. I feel like games should have a more focus on gameplay, but I'm also the kind of person that loves stories and games.
Yeah.
So I'm a little hypocritical in this opinion.
Yeah, no, I can't separate characters and stories too much, so I usually am like, okay, story, then gameplay. But
I think a good game can have both, and also a good game can focus on gameplay.
Yes.
See, the way I separate them, and the reason why I can separate story and gameplay, I'm going to use the first Knights of Azure as my prime example of this. The gameplay, or not the gameplay, the story is nonsensical. Like, the world they're in, I'm like, I never felt I got a full grasp of how it was supposed to work. But... The relationship between the two leads was just so engaging, and I was able to be invested into it despite not fully understanding how the world itself worked, that I was able to see past the repetitive gameplay and the nonsensical story and get to the end, because I'm like, I don't really care what's happening, because what matters is what's going on between these two people.
You're more patient than I. If I'm playing a game and I don't enjoy the gameplay of it, chances are, but I am interested in the story, chances are I will just go and watch it online, because I'm like, I don't want to have to work through this.
Yeah, I did that with Final Fantasy IX, actually. Because I love Final Fantasy IX, like, do not get me wrong, but I couldn't play it. Because there's older JRPGs are way so grind heavy that I can't do them. But Final Fantasy IX was also my first Final Fantasy, so I fell in love with the story, I fell in love with the characters. You won't see me play it.
Yeah.
I also just, I don't have time for grinding in games anymore. So it's like, I beat Final Fantasy 3, I beat Final Fantasy 1 several times, but nowadays I'm like, I don't have time for that. And that's why I've picked up Final Fantasy 15 2 times now. But every single time I've been like, okay, I could play Final Fantasy 15, or I could go replay the first Paper Mario game.
Which is why I kind of argue that why gameplay is so important in a video game, because if you don't like the gameplay,
you're not going to invest your time.
And you're just going to watch it like you would a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked the gameplay in Final Fantasy 15 a lot. I liked the characters, but just... Again, I'm not trying... this is kind of separate from just what we were talking about before.
Holy Keeper. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. It's just that it's like, I just don't feel I have the time anymore for JRPGs. So again, I don't think that was necessarily meant to be a knock on JRPGs and grinding. I'm just like, I just don't have time for games that require that, you know?
Yeah, I feel like nowadays, I will definitely try to give a JRPG time. I want to because I love JRPGs, but I also understand, like, I just don't have time.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why I will always tell everybody that Xenoblade Chronicles is worth it, in my opinion.
I know that. I also think that in the case of Final Fantasy 15, it was just like, I don't really have time for another I just, as a whole, just don't have time for sandbox games anymore. Because it's like, I played Skyrim a lot because at this point it's like, I kind of know what I need to do. I know where the quests are. I started playing some of the old Fallout games because I never really played those. Fallout 3 was okay. And I know Fallout New Vegas is better, but I just wasn't as immediately invested in Fallout New Vegas because there wasn't as much of a... Because Fallout 3, there's a very big family-centric storyline. You're looking for your father. Fallout New Vegas, you're a courier who accidentally ends up transporting, like, something that ends up like, all right, well, because you know this exists, we gotta kill you type situation. So you're just kind of trying to figure out the mystery behind that. I'm like, this is boring. I don't care. There isn't that immediate connection. And even though Final Fantasy 15 had that, part of my brain is like, it's still a Final Fantasy game. I have a pretty clear idea of what I'm going to be in for the next 60 hours. So...
Again, this is one of the hypocritical things. I get I don't have time for this, but I also internally am like, I want to be able to put the time into it.
Yeah, no, I feel you so hard. Like,
and sometimes I will do what I can to try to put the time into it.
Like, it's, like with Final Fantasy X, I am finding myself putting all the time into grinding and stuff because it's like, I really like its level up system. I will give Final Fantasy X that. I love its level up system. But in contrast, you have Octopath Traveler, which I got. And I came across the first real necessary grinding, and I'm like, why would I bother? Which is kind of sad, but at the same time, I wasn't as pulled in by the story because it is 8 different stories. What I thought Octopath Traveler was going to be was you do one story to the very end, or to a certain part, and then it swaps you. I didn't realize that I was literally doing 8 stories at the same time. So it was just like, nah, I'm good. I was overwhelmed.
That's why I put down Stardew Valley, because I played like maybe 5 hours, and I'm like, this is too much.
Which is a shame because I've put in a lot of time in Stardew Valley, but I also get that. Again, I understand it, but
yeah, no.
The other thing that really put me off Stardew Valley, and again, this isn't meant to be a criticism, Jesse. If you watch this, you flat out coming up to me and saying, hey, you need to make sure you do this, this, and that before this time. It's like, I've already put in that much time. That ship has sailed. My file feels kind of worthless now because I didn't know I was supposed to do, and yes, I know that was a recommendation, but that's still the feeling that I ended up getting about the game. And I'm like, okay, I don't care. I don't have time for this.
Which is why, audience, that you should try to let people play how they play. Because I get more enjoyment out of it.
Hello?
Hi!
Is that our horse's leg? I hope that's not our horse's leg.
No, horses don't have...
it looks like a
pig.
Perfectly fake. Mistress, you must awaken. You must come back.
Nice try, but Lust already tried that trick. Gluttony.
Mistress!
I hate this boss fight.
Oh, we're at a boss fight?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's me. For the context, at home, I got cast, I'll say after this.
Inside your desire, horseman. Would have been more merciful than what I'll do to you.
If you can reach me.
Perhaps I shall disembowel you. and let you watch your guts spill out in front of you.
Try your best, you bloated thing.
That cuts your voice. You think I will be an easy kill?
The easiest of all.
But I'm not yet full. You know I've tried. I've been feasting, but I'm still not satisfied.
I knew it!
Oh.
This boss fight sums up how much I don't like games that are just about being difficult for the sake of adjusting your strategy, because I legitimately tried to beat this game on a harder difficulty. I could not get past this fucking boss fight. I had to, put it on the lowest difficulty, because no matter what difficulty it was on, I could not beat this motherfucker. Yeah. I hate him so fucking much. And I will not feel bad about cussing up a storm, despite me trying to clean up my language a little bit in some of the other games.
It's because he's a glutton for punishment.
Go to hell, honey.
Okay.
The context.
Go straight to hell.
So I got cast and play Dr. Faustus, and some of the characters in the play are the 7 Deadly Sins. And I got cast as Gluttony.
Oh, fuck.
Be a glutton for punishment.
So yeah, that's the joke. That's me.
Son of a bitch. That's why I was struggling so much. I didn't like using the hammer, so I wasn't using it in the boss fight. So it didn't occur to me that it made you heavier. Because I was using exclusively the lightning form, because that's the combat style I like the best. That would definitely explain why I was struggling so much. Granted, this is another thing that was really killing me, was because those don't go away.
Oh.
Okay, take it back. The thing that was really killing me is that Gluttony, when he takes a swipe at you, like wildly 3 times, is so hard to dodge. And the only way that I could think of to do it is just to get out of his range. Which gets harder to do when he keeps pissing on the floor.
No, precious, but not really. I like your strategy that you did right there.
Oh, fuck. Trust me, on the harder difficulties, that does even more damage.
Oh, we know. We died by a normal enemy in 3 hits, so...
Again, on the one hand, I do appreciate this game did something a little different than the second one, but at the same time, it's like, there is something slightly to be said for traditional leveling up, like you did in the second game.
Ooh, underwater stuff.
Oh, joy.
Oh, joy. Oh, you're big. Oh, you're big. Oh, I don't like that at all. Oh, dear.
Now, this is the easier part of the boss fight.
Phase 2. Oh.
Okay, that, kind of chorus noise right there.
Uh-huh.
That reminded me a lot of the opening of Jurassic Park.
Go, bomb! Go, bomb! Go! 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 Yeah! Boom!
Here's your Toms. Enjoy it.
You need to take your medicine. Oh, hi. Ugh.
Don't judge me.
Ugh. Ugh.
I know I've said this about every time we see them, but except for Lust, I didn't mention it because I was trying to be silent and respectful. But
Oh, dear.
I freaking love the design of all the deadly sins in this game.
Yeah, they've been really good so far, actually. I've quite liked them.
I can't think of a single one that I don't love. Well, okay, I don't love Avarice, but it is still a good design.
Okay. That doesn't seem to damage it, so I guess we gotta wait until it
Yeah.
tries to suck you in.
I remember when I was looking up, like, just various forums on tip to how to beat this guy. One of the biggest complaints is that the AI in this second phase isn't the most reliable thing in the world when it comes to, you know, allowing himself to be hurt.
Oof. Big oof. It's a big oofa.
Oh, that's part of him. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that thing we were beating on, that we whacked on the back of his head. No, that was the smaller form we were fighting.
Oh.
So that's basically his brain.
Oh, okay. This is a bad idea.
Maybe you have to get closer to him to trigger it.
Oof. Oh, watch out.
No? Crap, I really hope it hasn't, like, full-on bugged out.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. You can tell when animations are looping. It's still going through all of the phases. It's just...
Refusing to do the one we want.
It's just a hard time to trigger it.
Am I the only one who thinks this looks like Yorg?
No, I can see the similarities too.
Rude.
Yay! Go in, bombs! Oh, shoot. It's moving based on where you are. Dang it. Okay.
You're not Andros.
Well, now we know at least.
And knowing is, unfortunately, what we need for this battle. I don't know why I said unfortunately. I was trying to come up with something clever and I failed.
At least in that guide.
I feel like the game has become self-aware and it's like, fuck you, I'm not dying today.
I choose life.
I'll have to do like a counter how long this boss fight took. This is supposed to be a pain in the ass for speedrun.
Oh, here it goes.
This reminds me of Donkey Kong 64 when I was determined to beat that stupid
He's not dead yet?
Oh, we have to go and do
a
the final
finisher,
bow.
I think you need to put on your force. Oh no.
Yay!
Hey, she's... Okay, no, she's not gonna pull a death.
Yeah, she is!
A death would have jumped inside him and sliced his way out.
Oh, damn, bitch.
Like a boss.
Work it, girl. I feel like we should have gotten like the level up menu there.
That's not how this game works.
I wanted that Persona 5 look. Oh, we got this instead.
Just sucked in like, yeah, I did so cool. Oh, no!
I'm flat.
Stop raiding on my parade, bitch! How many sins do we have left at this point?
Not a lot.
Is it just Pride?
I don't know.
No, we still need to do... Have we done Sloth? I don't remember if we've done Sloth
We
yet.
have not done Sloth.
So it's Sloth, Wrath, and Pride, I think.
There are so few surprises left in the world. Isn't that sad?
Hey, you're the one repeating the cycle. You full dick.
Moment. I've had enough surprises. You sound odd. Is something wrong?
Take this.
The stasis hollow. Why?
Question my gift.
I question your motives. Why does the Lord of Hollows continue to weaponize one of the Four Horsemen? For what purpose?
Remain on your path. In time, perhaps you will find your truth. That would be a fine surprise indeed.
And in the meantime, more toys for me to play with?
Horseman, in our next encounter, only one of us will survive.
Cryptic.
Hardly. You help me, then you threaten me?
Be gone.
Hey, at least you weren't thrown out this time, Fury. That must have been nice.
Yeah, you gotta leave on your own accord.
I only left because I chose to. Hair flick. And we might call it a day. So much. Because I am hungered. I hungered.
We will see you all next time.
Unless there's a cutscene in 3,
Ooh, I got the stasis hollow.
2. Okay, bye.
I hope it's saved.
Yeah, it's all the same.
This is probably gonna come out at a very different time in the future. And
July. I'm calling it now. It's gonna come.
Right.
everyone, place your bets. Okay.
Footnote at the end of this episode, Valentine commented June 15th.
I'm so glad you have such high faith in me.